We are live right here, right now.
Dude, what's happening with you?
Producer extraordinaire, Sean Solo, man.
Man,
awesome to meet you for the first time.
Man, appreciate you having me, you know what I'm saying?
The interviews up until now, it's been about 10 or 11. I know these people, I'm around them frequently. Me and you are just meeting right now. So this should make for a great little interview.
Yeah, most definitely.
Originally, where are you from? You are from the H?
Yeah, I'm from Houston, man. 3rd Ward, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
H-Town, born and raised.
What high school did you go to?
Man, I went to private school, man. I went to St. Thomas High School, man.
Wow, you played some sports?
Of course, man. Every sport besides baseball. Football, basketball, and track.
Bo Jackson, huh?
Hey, man, you know.
Wow, awesome, man. So eventually the bug would bite you, right? The rap bug.
Yeah.
When would you say this was? When you first started listening to rap, you wanted to rap, you wanted to make beats. Yeah. How did it all start?
Yeah, I ain't never wanted to rap, man. I wanted to be a New Edition, though. Nah, you know, the entertainment thing, like, I always went to concerts. Like, you know, I grew up on the Jacksons and, you know, and seeing entertainers, man. I knew I couldn't sing, and I knew I could dance, though, but I just got, you know, I fell in love with the music side of it, just creating.
Really?
Yeah.
When would you say that started?
Man, the love for it started, you know, way back, 5, 6 years old, but doing it actually probably started when I was like 18, first year in college.
Really?
Yeah.
So as far as like musical instruments, or when did that start? Maybe.
Yeah, I had keyboard. I had some keyboards. You know, my pops had brought me keyboard, but you know, it wasn't like, you know, making beats. It was really just playing around. Like, I could play by ear. I could figure out stuff.
Wow.
Never took any lessons. But, you know, I had keyboard before I actually got a sampler. So I was playing, I probably was 14, 15, had a little keyboard in my room.
You remember the type of keyboard? A Casio?
Man, probably a Casio, yeah.
Wow.
I remember I did get that one Casio, the first one that had that like 1 second sampler on it. It was like the little small one.
Really?
And you could, like, you know, I remember that episode of Cosby when Stevie Wonder was on there and he showed that jimping on him.
Yeah, right.
And that's when I was like, oh man, the sampler thing. Yeah.
Yeah, so Stevie blew our minds on that episode, man.
Killed it. That was, man, people don't, you know, attribute that to, you know, a beginning of something.
Right,
they forgetting about that, you know.
Right, you're right, man. Yeah. The first appearances of Herbie Hancock, you know, you get a DJ, people like, wow, what's that? You know? Right. So, you said you got a sampler at one point.
Yeah, I was
about 18, you said, when you first started getting the producing?
Yeah.
What type of sampler was it?
It was just a regular EPS. It wasn't an EPS 16 or nothing. It was just the EPS, the old one. Yeah.
Wow, man, that's a very common name. That's I hear a lot, right?
Yeah, that was the shit, man. That was like magic, bro. Like actually, I did like 6 of ESG songs from the Ocean of Funk off of that EPS.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Just samples. Then I eventually got the ASR, and that's when I started playing around on the ASR with the keys and shit, and that's how Swangin' and Bangin' came. But the EPS was what got people interested in me and ESG's music.
Oh wow! Well, now when you're talking about that EPS, sounds like, I haven't asked you your age, but we're kind of the same era here, right?
Yeah,
where rap is, as far as being engineered and recorded, is kind of still in its infancy. Case in point, right?
Right.
MIDI.
Right.
MIDI, right?
Right.
Who the hell knows what the hell that is, right? You go to the music store, them dudes don't even know what MIDI is at that time.
Right.
You got to open the manual. You got to teach yourself what is MIDI, right? Just to make the sampler, imagine, sync to a drum machine or however, whatever was going on. Can you talk about that?
Well, yeah, man, I didn't know what any of that shit was. Like, you know, like, I didn't know anything. I didn't have a drum machine at the time. Right. So, the MIDI was, I wasn't even using, like, I didn't even know how to quantize. Like,
right,
if you listen to, like, I would see the quantize on there, and I was like, I don't know, I'm just gonna make the shit. Like, if you listen to some of the Ocean of Funk shit, you can tell, like, I didn't know about quantizing, because it's not all the way on. You know what I'm saying? It's like a milliliter off on the loops. You know what I'm saying? A millimeter, not milliliter, millimeters off on some of the loops, but it kind of made it like an original sound.
Organic.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
I agree, man.
Yeah.
A lot of people will depend on that quantize, man. But a real drummer has some
there's gonna be there's gonna be a second. It's not gonna loop on the same one every time. You feel me? So, but yeah, even that swinging and bang, you listen to it, it's not in time. You know what I'm saying? Because I didn't know about it. You know.
Well, talk about that. You mentioned Swangin' and Bangin' and its origins, right?
Yeah.
You made this beat, your relationship with ESG. Talk about how that started.
Yeah, well, me and E met in college. I was down there in Louisiana. I originally went down there to play ball.
Wow.
Yeah, so...
football?
Yeah, football. So I got hurt or whatever, and I was just at school doing my thing. And I ran into this guy rapping. You know, he was rapping all the time. He was a DJ too at the club. It was ESG. And we just started connecting and hanging out. And at that time I bought the sampler, so I was making beats, and he was slicing cassette tapes. Like, he was the first person I would ever see that was able to loop a beat on a cassette tape. He knew how to like slice it.
Wow, man.
Yeah, and he was making loops on cassettes. He'd send me like, I was like an East Coast type. I love like Leaders of the New School, Tribe Called Quest, all the Pete Rock. I was on that shit.
Wow.
So, you know, and he was a DJ, so he liked all kind of music. You know, Louisiana shit, you know, the Texas stuff, and the East Coast. So we had a vibe like that. That was our vibe. We loved the music. And he would give me those loops, and I'm like, damn. What the hell? How you do that shit?
Right, yeah. It was magic,
man. Looping on cassette tapes. Imagine that. Yeah. He was a fool with that shit.
But eventually, Swangin' and Bangin' would be created, right?
Yeah.
And this was created on the EPS?
Nah, the first song, I don't know if you remember the ESG shit. We had fucking Ain't One Thing, It's Another, and all these songs. Like, we had like 6 songs we did in the Zydeco studio down there in Louisiana. And then we came down here, and I did the Swangin' and Bangin'. By that time I bought an ASR.
Wow.
And, and then we added the Swangin' and Bangin' and a few other songs, and it was on from there.
Cool, man. So eventually you would build your own studio?
No, I ain't never built a studio.
Really? That's interesting.
We worked out of Fresh's studio, which was where Suave House was, Mass 187, Lil Troy, all
Tony Draper.
Everybody was like using that studio, which was Fresh was like ahead of his time. Yeah.
Another commonality on these interviews is Jam Down and Patrick Lewis.
Yeah.
And it was like the Mecca at the time, right? Like, we had everybody, who was anybody, running through this establishment for about 5 years.
Right.
And you were one of, I've heard, correct me if I'm wrong, the in-house producers there.
Yeah.
At Jam Down. Can you talk about your time there at Jam Down?
Yeah, well, after the ESG stuff blew up, you know, I hooked up with the DEA, KK, Hawk, Pat, Kiki, and I did like 7 songs on that DEA record, and then Kiki ended up coming back or whatever, and he said, man, I need you for the record, you know. So ESG went to jail. I go over there with Kiki, and shit, we cooking, you know what I mean? That was their Jam Down.
Wow.
Jam Down was, you know, they were taking care of their producers, you know. So I was like, this is a place for me to be.
What do you think one of the first songs y'all worked on was? It's Going Down?
That was one of the first ones, but I think we had that Don't You Know before that, and then It's Going Down was like shortly right after that. Yeah.
And were those also on the ASR, or this is another?
Oh, it was ASR. It was ASR for sure.
Wow.
It was ASR, and I think by that time I might have Yeah, I think I got an MPC by that time.
Wow.
Yeah, so I was ASR in MPC for a while, like synced up. Yeah, and then I got like modules after that.
Went to sound modules. Yeah. Interesting.
Roland JV 1080 was my shit.
Wow, I had a 2080 at one time.
Yeah,
expansion
I had the one
cards.
before that. Yeah.
Right.
That shit was like, oh shit. If you go back, like all my stuff was coming from 1080, and I think it was something else I had. It wasn't the Planet. I didn't like the Planet. I bought that, but I didn't like
Proteus,
it.
Emu.
It was a Proteus.
Yes, sir. There's some
damn.
Nice sounds on
Man, I wish I still
Emu
had
products.
that shit.
When you said Planet Fat, yes.
Yeah, it was a Proteus.
Right.
Man, you a bad man. I like that shit.
Yeah, man, I love getting these deep dives, man.
Yeah, that's real shit.
I love that.
Proteus, man. When I got that after the 1080. My 1080 was already loaded up. Remember how you could put the cards in there?
Right.
So I had all the ones that the ones that fit my style in their cards lit up. Then I got that Proteus, and I was like, oh shit, this is another level.
Right.
The basses in there were like stupid in a sense. Yeah.
I'm dying to know. I don't want to get too far into the future, but what is your? I love discussing the hardware and software. Like hardware dominated rap for so long. The drum machines from the 808 to, like you're saying, all these modules. I remember all those at the time. Penafat, Proteus, Triton had their own. The Phantom had their own. Like, if you just had the trigger, right, you can have all these.
You can have whatever.
Right.
Yeah.
To now we have something like Reason.
Yeah.
Right. Do you have any experience with Free Loops or Reason, or you stayed hardware?
No, I'm software. But everybody tell this to people all the time, like, I do beats in Pro Tools right now.
Wow. So the VSTs that run in Pro Tools?
No, I have everything that I need.
Right.
But I just sequence it in Pro Tools. Like I have all the sounds that everything vintage, everything, but doing it in Pro Tools is the closest to me sticking to my same routine, of how I used to make beats. It's just with software now. I just enjoy, I never really fuck with nothing else but that when I switched over. I'm straight making the beats in Pro Tools, like sequence everything. Man. But my sounds, of course, I'm drawing them from where I need to get them from, because I got access to shitload of shit.
We're definitely two of the same cloth here, because I eventually evolved too over to Reason.
Right.
But I remember being, overconfident at the time. Like, man, software could never do what this hardware. But boy, was I delightfully wrong, right?
It's just a fool.
So that's cool. So now you actually produce everything in software, pretty much, right?
Right.
There's no need for the hardware.
Yeah, I don't fuck with hardware like that.
Man,
you have so much access to everything with the.
Right, you can just go online, get a sound bank, plug it up, and you start producing like that,
quick.
Right. Yeah. It's so changed now, right, for producers.
Real shit.
What would you think would be your first, I'm here moment, like your first signature beat, if you were to say?
I mean, I'm definitely gonna say it's got to be Swinging and Banging, because with that song, we end up. I mean, the numbers were crazy, but we end up doing that big box birthday bash, and it was Biggie. It was the Bad Boy. It was all Bad Boy, and then we were there. It was the whole Bad Boy lineup. Biggie, Craig Mack, everybody. Total.
Wow, man.
Tall dude. What's his name? Anyway, they had everybody was there. But when we did Swinging and Banging at that show, and they screwed that bitch down, and that arena went, and it was our first time at the big arena. We limoed up there and everything, that I was like, oh shit, I'm here. Man. You know what I mean? Because that was 20,000 people.
Right.
Yeah, it was a fool.
And I did read online, I tried to do some research on it, that you had a Grammy nomination for something you wrote with Drake. Talk about that.
Well, Drake sampled ESG Swinging and Banging.
Okay.
For the song Heifer.
Right.
The Heifer song won the Grammy nomination. So in turn, I was a writer on the song, we got the same, you know, credit for getting the Grammy. Yeah, we got the whole official. I was like, whoa, this shit crazy. Man. Yeah. And that song really reignited my career. Because I was about to say, you know, fuck it. You know what I'm saying?
I can totally sympathize, man. You try to walk this fine line of a career, but you have the music, and it's sometimes I compare it to a abusive relationship, right? You love her so much, but man, you can't stay away. It's in our blood.
Yeah, but that shit shot me back up to, hey, I'm back making, you know, legitimate bread off of this shit. You know what I'm saying? So.
Right, which I found your site, The Plug, is number 4, theplug.com. Stop the interview right now and go check out this man's site. He's got a whole repository, if I would say, huge library of beats that you can get. I guess they're like some are exclusive, some non-exclusive. Some are really affordable. Tell us about it.
Yeah, we got leases up there. We got you know, mid-range beats. You know what I'm saying? And we got some that, you know, that you gotta holler at me for. You know what I'm saying? And you know, we're about to update it too. Those beats have been on there, but you know, by the time this drop, we're gonna have it updated.
Right, man. Right. Yeah. Well, that's cool, man. It was an honor, privilege just to meet you.
Man, appreciate it.
Let alone get you in the chair. And like I said, maybe next time on your home court, I'd like to see your domain.
Yeah, let's do it.
And continue talking about.
Let's do it.
I'd love to get in the rabbit holes of the technical stuff, right?
Yeah,
software,
like
hardware, man.
Yeah, let's hook up.
But we love that you came out, man.
Appreciate you.
Any parting shots, man?
Nah, man, just check me out. I'm everywhere, man. I got something new coming with Drake. I got Zero, new single with Zero coming. Lil Kiki stuff, you know. And a lot of young people, Dope Boy Sauce, got a bunch of shit happening, man. It's going down. Solo Beats, rec.tv.